You might want to put parent viewer discretion advised.
Yeah. Or bleep you out each time.
Yeah, when I say
leave it up to their imagination what you're saying.
yeah, bleep me out.
Can I say bleep?
Yeah, just beat me out. That would be funny.
All right. Hey, this is Mark.
And this is Colt.
And this is another episode of Unlikely Life Verses.
It is. We're back at it. And this is an exciting episode.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's Valentine's episode.
So yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So, we have wanted to have our wives on an episode for a long time. Why have we not been able to make that happen?
Why?
Yeah.
We didn't want them cramping our style, really, number one.
Oh, okay. So it was a personal choice.
Yeah. Boy, Olivia's going to call me after she hears this. And she's going to be like, cramping your style, huh?
I partially, I think it's just because then you'd have to find someone to watch all the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, now, if somebody in the audience listening would volunteer.
Oh, absolutely.
To, an hour to let us all record a podcast together, that'd be amazing.
I personally am out of babysitters in the city limits because it seems like everybody we take Liam to, they love him, but they're like always busy when we ask him again.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I'm thinking we're the problem.
No.
With Liam,
So, how long have y'all been married?
You really had to ask me that. Okay.
I'll give you time. Mindy and I are coming up on 15.
I think I'll be
May.
9 in August.
Okay.
So August 9th, 14. 9 years.
9 years. Awesome.
Yeah.
Coming up on 9.
Coming up on 9.
Okay.
So 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're coming up on 15, and that's is that a milestone? I don't know. Is
15?
I mean,
I would think
usually people don't start saying anything like big about it until like 20 or 25.
Well, technically, you're a third of the way through generally. because most people don't really get past 45. Okay, because they usually die before 45. How many people have you ever known to hit the 60?
60? No, I think my parents just hit. No, maybe I think they're coming up on 50. They're coming up on 50, so they were married. They got a few more years.
Are they still citizens
of the United States?
Yeah. You can write the president, and if they hit the 50 milestone, he'll write them like a big letter, congratulating them, and then sign it.
I don't think they would want that.
You don't like Joe Biden? Oh, Uncle Joe? You wouldn't want to hang that in your house? Uncle Joe commemorating 50 years of marriage?
I mean, they literally fled the United States to get away from.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. They've been there since 1984. Yeah. So no, they're not close to 50. They got married in 75. Oh, they are getting. So they're at like 48 now.
Yeah. The math is mathing.
The math is mathing. So you guys have been married for a little while. How long were you married before? I mean, I know I can just do the math because Liam is 4, almost 5.
Yeah, it was 4 years we were married before kids.
Before kids. So
that was the glorious days of my life.
So listen, and I say this. I mean, and you say this as a joke. Am
I joking?
I don't know. Now that you say that, I don't know. But we went, we tried to have kids, and we were told that we were never going to have kids.
Yeah.
Medically, it wasn't going to happen. And obviously, the Lord worked a miracle, and we have 2 now. But those, I do appreciate, we had 6 years, before kids. And that, to me, it solidifies
it does
a relationship where then, so the kids are going to be in our lives, for the rest of our lives, but going to be in our home for those 18 years, and then they're going to start their own lives and their own families. And if you don't have a base, what happens when you?
I'm not going to lie to you. I do miss the time where you come home from work and just grab your wife and you could go out to eat and just you could have a plan and you didn't have to tell her. But now I can't do that because we've got to have a diaper bag and we've got to have this and we've got to have 47 things. And just because the kids, I mean, they add an extra burden to a relationship that is a good burden.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, the intimacy of being able to go spur of the moment, and if you wanted to go cruise the back roads, or if you wanted to go fishing or frog gigging or something, you could.
Is that like a perfect date idea?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go out to eat and then go frog gigging and then get a milkshake on the way home. I mean, come on, man.
Well, I we had a double date with y'all last night, and I want to, like, next one. Let's do that.
Frog gigging?
Yeah,
we can go frog gigging.
I've never done it.
Yeah, we can go frog gigging. You got any waders?
So there's some.
Are you scared of snakes?
I mean, how close am I going to get to them?
They're going to be on your legs.
No, I don't want to do that.
We'll be in the water with your fork,
with my baptism waders.
Yeah, we'll be we got the fork, and we'll be stabbing them frogs, and the snakes will be coming up trying to get the frogs too, and you have to fight the snakes off for the frogs and the turtles off for the frogs.
Yeah, I think
we go coon hunting.
I think we're busy that night.
You go coon hunting?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
We'll just
with Mindy and Olivia?
Yeah, we can take them.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to, track down. We'll have to track down a coon. You have to go through 3 bottoms, and be multi miles of running.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put all that, in a notebook, and we'll circle back.
Okay.
When it comes to it. So I'll tell you. I'll give you some time to think.
Yeah.
Best or worst date that you've had
with my wife?
With your wife. Let's talk that. And I'll give you some time because I'll tell you.
Okay.
Our very first date.
Yeah.
We went to the movies, and we sat down, and the relationship was very, very. I mean, obviously, very new.
Yeah.
I had been working for a long time toward it. She actually, when I met Mindy, and you may not have known this, but she was engaged to someone else.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I worked and broke that thing up.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Casanova.
And it was, I mean, maybe at the time I wasn't so malicious about it, but looking back, I realized what I was doing. And he didn't have a whole lot of direction in his life,
but you did.
I knew where I was going, and so he struggled in school a little bit, and then when he had to move back home to work, he went back home, and in that time, and the whole time we were kind of, I was friends with him. It wasn't like I was.
Oh, so you robbed your friend?
I did.
Boy, I'm gonna need to watch my P's and Q's. That's what you're telling me.
So he would do stuff, kind of irritating things, and Mindy would get upset. She would call me, and let me talk to you about it. I'd like to, and I would just be that shoulder to cry on kind of person, and then eventually just slipped my way in and kicked him out. He went home and ended up marrying his like high school sweetheart. So it all worked out. It worked out for everybody. So everybody ended up happy.
Well, good.
But so our first date, I mean, we had been flirting for a long time, and we knew we were moving toward her, or at least I did. And so our first date, we went to the movies, and she picked up. We had, when you go to the movies, you get these gigantic drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just it's a ridiculous amount of soda. To put in your body. But she grabbed it by the top, and the lid was not on. And she dumped that entire thing right in my lap, like at the beginning of the movie.
Really?
I mean, it was just, and
everywhere.
I had jeans on. It was, and so
was it Coke or Dr. Pepper?
It was Coke.
Oh. And
so I sat there, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and I'm. It was like first date.
I can really see her doing that.
So I said, "No, it's okay, it's fine." I was hot, so now it cooled me down a little bit. But that we have laughed about that. Since the beginning, and that kind of broke any tension that was there. It broke the ice, and that is, that's our like getting together kind of story. Yep. And I sat through the whole movie completely soaked. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But
what movie?
I don't even. Oh, you know what? I do remember what it was. It was a thriller called Red Eye, and with Cillian Murphy. He's an Irish actor. But that was really good. He was on a plane and he was stalking this lady. And,
oh, okay.
Yeah. We loved those kind of movies.
Mine and my wife's first date.
Yeah.
Okay. Was October 23rd of 2012.
Okay.
Okay. So I picked her up, and I had an old Dodge pickup diesel injection pump was going out on. And so I picked her up. She was living in Canton, and we went to the movie theater in Athens.
Okay.
And we saw Hotel Transylvania.
Okay. That's a good one. I love that
good
movie.
one. Yep. So I'm not about watching scary movies or anything like that. I watch simple movies.
Okay.
I didn't want to go and watch anything that was inappropriate, may have a sex scene or anything in it. So I just picked Hotel Transylvania because I knew it was probably safe.
Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah. So anyways, we're driving, and, about 4 times on the way down to, Athens, my truck, injection pump's going out. It would go, it'd go, so Olivia's like looking over at me. But the first thing I did, like when I opened the door for her and she got in, closed the door, I had the console down. So I lifted the console up, so she could slide over in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
And she grabbed it and put the console down. So anyways,
that was the Holy Spirit's.
That was separation. Yeah. And the console in them Dodge pickups in, early 2000s were wide, so, it was wide. So anyways, I'm driving the old truck down there, injection pumps trying to go out, back and forth, whatever. So she's like, looking over me like I'm some sort of weirdo that's going to take her, into the backwoods of Athens and murder her. So anyways,
oh man.
Then we watched Hotel Transylvania. It was great. Didn't hold hands. I tried to put my arm around her. She took it off of her. Whole 9 yards. So anyways, we sat there. Then we go get a milkshake afterwards, and we head home. So I get out. When we get home, open the door for her. Get out. But she's trying to get out and run inside. As fast as she can. And I'm like, well, are you going to like hug me or what? Or whatever. And she was like, bye. And just like ran off inside. I thought it was over. I thought,
right.
I was like, well, body language there.
Yeah.
But anyways, she just realized that she couldn't get enough. The charm worked.
Yeah.
And she's not left since. Can't get her to leave now if I tried.
What a romantic sentiment about that.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to do in today's episode. We're going to be totally different. We're going to kind of, break our standards and go a little bit different. I want to go to probably the romantic epicenter of the Bible, and that is the book of Song of Solomon or Song of Songs. I don't know. What do you call it? Song of Songs?
Song of Solomon.
Yeah. That's what I grew up. But my Bible now says Song of Songs.
ESV says Song of Solomon.
Oh, does it? Mm-hmm. Wow, man. There's another. If they can't even agree on the title of the book. So I read this before, and I really liked how you can look at the books, the wisdom literature that Solomon wrote. And what I read was that Song of Songs was probably the first thing he wrote. It was very early in his life, falling in love, getting married, all of that, all the emotions surrounding that. Proverbs was written somewhere in the middle of his life where he's raising kids and he's writing this to his kids, and he's got a little bit of experience now, some wisdom behind his words. And then Ecclesiastes was the last thing that he wrote after he had had a long life and kind of looking back on everything. Do you think that's a good way to look at it?
I would say that's fair.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Song of Songs, early in his life. This is a book, I don't know about you, but as a kid, I could read this and giggle for days.
Yeah.
It's one that I've never preached through it.
You kind of like that chapter in Ezekiel.
I kind of like that chapter in Ezekiel. That's a real good one. I've preached on that several times. I've not preached on Song of Solomon. I did teach through it.
Whoa. You preached on that chapter in Ezekiel?
Yeah. Twice now.
In Sunday church.
Yeah.
Like big church.
It was Sunday nights.
Oh, heavens.
Yeah, sure have. Well, they're both online, too, if you want to.
Wow.
I'll go
and you read the scripture out?
Maybe. Now that you say that, I don't. Maybe I don't.
Ooh.
I'll have to go back and look.
Okay,
we'll talk about it in a future. Future episode.
We'll say you are.
Hey, it is God's word. Every word is profitable for doctrine and reproof and correction and instruction in righteousness.
Okay.
So, Song of Songs. I did teach through it in our young marrieds class, and it was a lot of fun. But teaching through it in church, it's one of those things where, I don't know if you'd have to give a disclaimer to kids and offer a kids' church during it, or if you just say, you know what, this is God's word and it is what it is. I don't know how, like W.A. Criswell, he preached through every word of Scripture over 17 years at First Baptist Dallas, and he just Sunday morning, Sunday night, he just went through the Scripture verse by verse by verse, and I don't know what happens when you get to like in a big church like that. How do you get to Song of Songs? I mean, how do you approach it? Now, probably they didn't approach it. They probably did the metaphoric interpretation where this is a picture of Christ and his church, not a husband and his wife.
Okay.
This is so blatantly romantic that I don't see how you could say. I mean, maybe there are some parallels, but you can't rob the interpretation. Like in context, Song of Songs is a love letter between a man and his wife, back and forth, and you see their whole relationship. You see them first meeting, you see them falling in love, you see them getting married. I mean, you see literally every part of their relationship. So here's what I want to do for this Valentine's episode, and since we just finished, Super Bowl season, and then March Madness is coming up, and brackets are going to be on everybody's mind. I've created a Solomon's Romantic Comparisons bracket, and you're going to see it on the screen, so you can follow along with us. We're going to look at.
I noticed that you didn't put the seeds, like who's number 1, who's number 8.
I wanted to be fair because I didn't want to influence it already.
I'm just telling you right now, boobs is number 1.
We will get to that.
Can I say boobs
when we get? You can. I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Well,
are you beeping me out?
That word. Well, no, because then I think it would look worse. If I bleeped it out, then it would look like you're using profanity or something. But so there's 8 comparisons that Solomon uses for his bride.
Yes.
And so that's what we want to look at. And then I just want to maybe if we agree on it, then we can move them forward, or if we don't, we can have a little debate kind of thing. Yeah. I'm scared to debate you because I know that you can debate anything, anytime with almost no prep. So we'll see how that goes. But then, we will have it on the screen so they can follow along with whatever. And if you disagree with us, we'd love to hear about it. Like, we'd love to know like why you think one is better than the other. And we talked about like how we're gonna what are we rating these on, or how are we gauging these? Whether it's worst or best, and you said both. Like,
I think it just
it's
overall
just the totality of which one is best. What's a better comparison, and better in. We'll talk about how we'll get that.
In what way?
Okay. So these are awesome. So if you haven't read Song of Songs, take some time. I think it's only 6 chapters.
Yep, and there's different
8
sections.
Chapters.
So I suggest what you could do is the wife read the she part, the husband read the he part. And then y'all together read the other parts.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
talk about increasing the intimacy in the relationship.
Do it. Solomon's Romantic Comparisons bracket. So the first matchup that we have here.
Yep. Song of Solomon 1:9 versus Song of Solomon 1:15.
All right. How about you read 9? I'll read 15.
All right. So 9 says, "I compare you, my love, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots."
Okay.
That's good imagery, though.
Right off the bat. A horse.
That's right.
A beautiful animal. Costly horse.
Beautiful animal. So I want you to think about this too, though. Also, he's not just saying like a horse pulling a plow. He's saying Pharaoh's chariots. Okay, so you have like when you watch the old World War II documentaries and you see like Russia is marching through the Red Square with their their infantry and all of their artillery. So imagine that in Egypt, though. A parade of, the power of the Pharaoh, and you have all of these chariots, with their little Egyptian men. I don't know what their hand signals were. I doubt it was like the Nazi Germans. But, moving forward, you're going to have beautiful mares out there pulling these chariots. Like I'm talking about, they're going to be sleek, they're going to be groomed, they're going to have their mane that is like manicured in the perfect way.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about beautiful animals.
Okay.
And and Pharaoh is selecting these animals, of the best. So you're talking about some of the most beautiful horses in the world.
Okay.
I'm picturing probably an Arabian mare crossed with something like a thoroughbred. Real lean, real slick, just beautiful, beautiful animal.
So, I mean, that was amazing.
I'm just telling you.
So I went into that thinking that wasn't a great comparison. And you could, let's read the other one. I want to see see what you got.
See what we got challenging it.
So verse 15 of chapter 1 is, how beautiful you are, my darling. How very beautiful. Your eyes are doves.
I'm waiting on you. That's your verse.
That's my verse,
Yeah.
man? Okay. Yeah. Well, to me, you look, first of all, across the totality of Scripture, and you see where the idea of doves appear. I mean, you see that in the end of the judgment and the flood, Noah releases a dove, and it signals new life. Stop it. New life. They're walking out into this beautiful new world that is green and vibrant, and he's unlimited possibilities. You see it again in the stories of the law, and it pictures Christ. That as this dove becomes a sacrifice, Christ will become our ultimate sacrifice. You see it again in Jesus' baptism, where a dove that is the Holy Spirit alights on him and signals the beginning of Jesus' ministry. So these are big changes and beautiful moments and key moments that point us to the person of Jesus Christ. So if you think Pharaoh's armies are better than Jesus, then
It's not the direction I'd have took it.
no, man, it is a worse analogy.
Oftentimes,
The other one is definitely better.
Oftentimes, the eye is called the window to the soul.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and a dove is associated with white, which is oftentimes associated with purity.
Yeah.
So looking into the eyes of his betrothed or his beloved is like looking into the pureness of the dove or a pure soul.
Beauty, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one's pretty easy. I think verse 9 moves on.
No, I think so. Verse 9 moves on. That's the imagery of the mare is just a beautiful image there.
All right. So you're going to see that on the screen. So round 2. Let's go to round 2.
Are we going to 4-1 or are we going to 4-3?
Yeah, let's go to 4-3. I definitely think there's a favorite going into this one though. And so I want that one, and you can do the pomegranate.
Oh, well, yeah. Give me whichever one you want.
Because I don't do, what is that called? The rhetorician.
Yeah, you're not a rhetorician.
I'm not. I never did debate. I don't debate. If somebody disagrees,
You want to fight them? Is that what you want to do?
no, I want to just leave and avoid conflict completely. So I'll take the first one though. 3a, chapter 4, 3a. Your lips are like a scarlet cord, and your mouth is lovely. And I'll read yours, and then we'll go.
Your cheeks are like halves of a pomegranate behind your veil.
Okay. So I'll go into. I mean, almost one of the first things that to me you notice about a woman when when you're first dating or whatever is that their lips. I mean, that to me it there's so much there that is drawing and enticing. Okay.
Pomegranates.
I will throw
this.
Pomegranates are nasty looking. How on earth could that be something?
Hey, just throw out your best offense, and I mean, we'll see who wins at the end of this game.
I want to attack yours first.
Okay,
that's how it
attack me. It's fine. Attack.
You crack open that pomegranate, and it's bumpy, and it's discolored, and there's all this. How could that be something that would be beautiful on someone's face?
Or is that your argument?
That's my argument.
So your argument is to just like bash me and not even support yours? I mean, you didn't even read.
I sure did. It's so
neck like a Tower of David. What are you, a giraffe?
That's the next one. That's verse 4.
Scarlet thread.
Scarlet thread. Yeah.
Mouth is lovely. Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful lips. I mean, that is self-explanatory.
So here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is when a man is attracted to a woman, what is the most attractive thing about a woman to a man?
This is dangerous. Their personality.
It's not dangerous. No, absolutely not. It's the fact that she's attracted to you.
Oh, okay. I see that.
So when you're attracted to a beautiful woman and she is into you, that just increases it, makes you excited, makes you feel like you're on top of the world, okay? So what is like a sign that a woman, when you're communicating with them, is attracted to you? Well, that is blush. When they blush and their cheeks turn rosy or turn the color of a pomegranate, okay? So the whole situation is...
So an unopened pomegranate.
No, halves. When you open it and you've got that color... Okay, and you've got that veil. This is Solomon looking at his betrothed and his beloved, someone whom he longs for and loves. Okay, and he looks at her and he sees that her cheeks are red like pomegranates, and he knows that this love and this passion is mutual. And so in that moment, It increases Solomon's excitement and his intimacy and his longing for her because he knows that she shares the same feelings.
I don't want to do this anymore. This is unfair. How you have the ability to turn a freaking pomegranate into, like, this is nuts. Do you write, like, you should write this kind of, did you write this kind of stuff, like, to Olivia when you were dating?
Oh, yeah, I wrote her handwritten notes, yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, I would write handwritten cursive notes that were, long, and I would do, like, the old, like, Civil War cursive.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, and I'd write her name and stuff like that.
Well, no wonder 9 years.
Hey, I'm really a romantic.
I mean, obviously, you're killing it.
So what does it come behind victory? Is what you're telling me?
I want to change the format here, where you do both of them and argue with your own self, and I just sit on the sidelines and say,
"So
good job, Colt."
Come behind victory for the pomegranate.
It's a pomegranate victory.
I'm telling you, that's when you look at this and you really start thinking about it. You see beautiful imagery. In Solomon's writings.
100%. I mean, this is. It is quite amazing.
But you've got to put your mindset into what he's thinking. Like the Egyptian, when he says Pharaoh's mayors, okay? He doesn't have the ability to list out all of that stuff. But whenever he went to visit Egypt, probably on a diplomatic mission, that Pharaoh lined up the best that he had. Yeah. And you see that kind of stuff.
I could probably give you anything, and you could figure out how to make it.
Hey, I like to see the good in everything.
Okay. A bag of trash.
A bag of trash?
Yeah. So, my darling, you are like a bag of trash on a summer day.
A bag of trash on a summer day. Okay.
Tell me how that would become romantic.
So, the ability for her to just face the trials and tribulations of this world and contain it. Okay, and hold form, and just stand there, standing amongst the beating down sun, and hold everything together.
I have new levels of appreciation for you. Like that was amazing.
So my favorite line that I love to write Olivia, and I do it all the time, okay, is, as sure as the vine wraps around the stump, you are my darling sugar lump.
That's sweet, though.
And that is.
I like that.
Andy Griffith said that back in the day.
Did he?
I fell in love with that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to West Coast. I'm going to read them. I don't want to, but I feel like the strengths of your argument is what's winning this. So let's just
good game plan.
Let's team up.
Half of a good team is you got a good coach, man.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to coach you to victory in this. So the first one is Songs 4:1. Mm-hmm. How beautiful you are, my darling. How very beautiful. Behind your veil, your eyes are doves. Your hair is like a flock of goats streaming down Mount Gilead. So that's going to be 4:1 is the flock of goats streaming down Mount Gilead. And you read 2.
Okay.
Because they're very similar. This one, very similar matchup here.
Your teeth are like a flock of shorn ewes and have come up from the washing, all of which bear twins. And not one among them has lost its young.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so these are 2 very similar. Goats, hair like goats, teeth like sheep. Mm-hmm. Go.
You want me to do both?
Yeah, do both. I don't want to lose again. I'm tired of losing.
Okay, so in Israel, okay, you've got the mountains, okay, and you've got the goats and the sheep, or the goats would, they're mountain goats. They'll go up the mountains. Okay, so as they're going up the mountains, okay, they're jumping back and forth. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm picturing a lady as she's walking. Okay, she's got curly hair. You know how they do their hair, and it's not like the big curls, but it's like the small curls. So as she's walking, this hair is just moving back and forth. Yeah. Okay, kind of as the goat says, for lack of a better term, dancing on the mountainside. Okay, so I mean, he doesn't really talk about the color as much as what I guess you would call the bounce, or the what do the women call that hair that that's the what's the word? It's full.
Like volume?
Volume, that's the word. Okay, so the volume of the hair, you have the dancing of the curly hair, okay, and the back and forth, and the volume of it just creates a beautiful image.
Yeah, I mean, it's a picturesque scene, thinking,
yes,
a mountainside and how beautiful that would be. Yeah.
He's trying to compare it to beautiful scenes in nature. And so if you've ever seen mountain goats, okay, that are on the side of a mountain and they're jumping back and forth and they never miss, a beat, and it's just back and forth, and you're just amazed, and your breath is taken away by this scene about how God could create an animal that's so simple, but it has the ability to dance up the mountainside. And so you see that hair in that way. So, when it comes to, there's a couple of things in verse 2, okay, that are interesting. So the flock of shorn ewes, okay? And so if you've ever been around sheep, okay, you know that whenever they get all the wool grown out, okay, the wool has a tendency to get matted and nasty. But when you shorn them and you shave all that wool off, you have this beautiful, pure, clear white, okay? Now, there's another interesting thing right here. He not only talks about the color of her teeth, but he talks about the placement of her teeth in her head and how each of them has its twin. So you see what he's talking about is the perfect placement of the teeth in around. And so you have this beautiful image of beautiful white teeth that someone that has a beautiful smile that is she's so excited to see him, but her teeth are not like Tom Cruise's and they're off-lined, They're like perfectly straight, and each one is in its place. And at the very end, it says, not one of them has lost its young.
Yeah.
So in the time of...
That's what I would have said, is that in this time, how difficult it would have been to have straight white teeth.
So based on this straight white teeth that is all there, you'd think she's a healthy individual. Okay, she has a good hygiene, good diet, and she really cares about probably keeping the commands of the Lord and the law, and she's very faithful. And so just judging by the teeth, you can see her dedication, number one, to the Lord, to her body, to her health, and you see this just beautiful picture of a woman. So, I mean, to add all this up, I mean, you're looking at her eyes. Okay, she has a pure soul. She cares about her body. You're talking about a beautiful woman inside and out.
Yeah. So in this matchup, the goats versus the sheep, my vote is for the sheep.
I think the sheep
teeth
too.
like sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're in agreement with that. I loved the imagery that you gave for the goats, but I think best/worst.
You want a girl with good teeth?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and
she can wear a wig, but dentures is out the question.
I just love the fact that in today's world, now, if you describe these like you have been, maybe you could convince someone. But if you went home and said, Olivia, your teeth are like sheep, like look, I'm not envisioning I could go home and use these same lines and it be productive.
Well, I could, because Olivia's heard me say way crazier things.
So that would be a positive.
Well,
then
the whole deal is like, I want you to picture this scene, okay? Like, I walk in the house, Olivia's like cooking supper, and I say, Olivia, your neck is like the Tower of David. She stops, waits for me to explain myself before she gets upset and irrational.
Okay. So she knows going into it that you're what you're about to say.
You never know. Yeah.
Okay. Last matchup, verses 4.
I'll read verse 4.
All right. That's fine. I'll read 5. Songs 4 and 5. All right.
All right, so verse 4, your neck is like the Tower of David, built in rows of stone, and on it hang 1,000 shields, and all of them shields of warriors.
Fantastic. And then verse 5, your breasts are like 2 fawns, twins of a gazelle that feed among the lilies. All right.
So Tower of David.
Tower of David.
This is always an interesting one, because you want to sit here and you want to say, is she got a long neck?
Yeah, I mean, that's originally where I would have gone to make fun of it.
Yeah, but what is the Tower of David?
Like the women there's that culture in Africa where they put the rings.
Yes, that's another one.
And they stretch out that neck real long.
So what is he trying to get at here? What I see is when you add that to the Tower of David, you're getting something interesting, okay? Because he feels secure in her. Okay, and so with her as his wife, he has security, he has power, he has, and you know the old saying, a good woman can make or a woman can make or break a man.
Yeah.
And a good woman can make a man be better, and a bad woman can make a man be worse. And the thing that you have here is not only does she add beauty and grace to him, but she adds stability. And she adds power, and she adds strength, and she adds might all to his kingdom already.
And I mean, it says at the end, all the shields are shields of warriors.
Yes, and so you see that with her in his life, he is more powerful of a kingdom. Whereas if they didn't have the shield as a kingdom, if they didn't have the Tower of David and they didn't have the shields, they would have been less of a threat. They would not have had great defenses. But I mean, you're looking at someone probably that he can come home after a long, hard day of dealing with just the garbage of leading Israel, and he can confide in her, and she's
a safe place,
and she's a safe place, and she can continue to encourage him and strengthen him and empower him. I don't know if he's going to beat boobs though.
Convince me.
Oh, I'm doing the boobs too?
Yeah.
I thought you were.
No way. I mean, this pattern where you fight for it and then I agree or disagree. I think that works. So
the interesting thing about this verse, what makes it click to me is the last portion, and that graze among the lilies. And so I'm thinking about a kind of low-lying area that is going to, like you're on a hill, okay, and you're low, and you've got a sloping to a water source, whether it's a river or a pond, okay, and you've got grass that's probably waist high, okay, and you see two fawns out there, two deers, okay, and they've got their head down grazing, and so in this sloping beauty of a landscape, and so he's comparing, the curves of her body to beauties that he sees in nature. Yeah. Okay. And he's observing that the creation of the individual beauty of a woman to the magnificent beauty of creation. And so with all of that, okay, when you look at the teeth, the hair, the neck, the eyes, okay, the comparison to the mare, okay, you see this image of him not only seeing her as she walks into the room, but as she is laying next to him. Yeah. Okay, and it is a picture, and this is a book is completely focused on the intimacy of all of the things that he's attracted to, and the ability for them to be vulnerable together. Yeah. And so you have this beautiful imagery of a marriage, of how a husband values a wife not only for her physical physique, okay, but for the mental capabilities, the strength and power that she brings to him to go out and face the world, but the ability to hold his life together when it's out of control.
So because of that, what you just said, because of that, I'm a little bit leaning toward the tower, the neck as a tower.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I absolutely am.
Don't try to win brownie points with the wife.
I'm not trying to win brownie points. I appreciate everything else that we've looked at so far was physical, and so that one specifically was emotional.
A number 8 seed upsetting the number 1 seed. This is a true underdog story here.
Well, that's what I feel.
Are you just trying to get boobs off of this as soon as possible, so I won't keep saying that throughout?
Partially,
okay.
Because I'm just afraid how many times people could hear it before they just turned it off.
I thought you were going to beat me out.
No. I feel like that would be worse because then it leaves it up to the imagination what you're saying. Okay, so we know your vote. We're going to disagree.
The Tower of David.
No, you were going to vote.
I said upset. I'm going to go with the upset.
We're going to go with the upset?
Go with the upset.
All right. The neck tower.
The neck tower.
4-4. But you've surprised me big time in this episode because you can go from using your country analogies that sometimes you do, you go from that to these like beautiful poetic descriptions.
So, do you realize that I'm a published poet?
No, I did not.
Yes.
Okay. Where were you published?
So, when I was in college, they said that if we wrote poems, we get extra credit for English.
Uh-huh.
So, I turned in the poems they said to turn in, and I ended up. The teacher also said if I attended the ceremony, that I would get an extra A.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, make a long story short, one of my poems got second place, and they were going to publish the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're published, but I'm a published poet.
That's amazing. It doesn't surprise me now, having gone through all this. The perfect Valentine's episode. We've already explained them, so now let's just work through the bracket. So on West Coast side, we've got Songs 1-9, which is Mares in Pharaoh's Army.
I think that's the favorite to win now that the number 1 seed is out.
Against the teeth like newly shorn
There's
sheep.
no way that just looking at what the power that the Mayor's song 1-9 brings.
Your description of that was stellar.
Yeah.
I mean that really has to. Okay.
Yeah, the shorn ewes, you really aren't going to stand a chance. I'm sorry, but that's a powerhouse offensive metaphor.
Okay, so then on the East Coast side, you've got
pomegranates.
Now mine said a brow, but yours said a cheek.
Yeah.
Either way, kind of does the same. Although your analogy kind of rested on the cheek.
Yeah.
So the pomegranate cheeks, and then at the bottom the neck tower.
Yeah, I don't think the pomegranates can really take the tower has to offer.
I agree. I think what you did with that was exemplary. I mean, I really enjoyed that. All right, so then for the finale here, we've got the Mares versus.
That is a good matchup.
The neck tower.
This is a really good matchup. Now, it all depends really here. Gosh, man, you've got the ability, the beauty and the sleekness of a wife, and then you have the ability of her to bring you security. So I think that, this one's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. This turned out to be really hard.
And you think of even Solomon's life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Solomon was more focused on the sleekness.
He was.
Not the security.
Because obviously when you've got, now he had 700 wives, 300 concubines, or is it opposite? 300 wives, 700 concubines?
I don't know.
One of those. So obviously beauty was something that he was existentially searching for constantly, finding more women, more beautiful women.
It may have been what was the number 1 seed that he was searching for.
Yes. On the other hand, you look at how he wrote in the book of Ecclesiastes, that what he was desperately searching for was emotional stability. Mm-hmm. He felt like he had wasted his life. He felt like.
So if we go with what Solomon should have gone with, do as I say, not as I do. Mm-hmm. I think that the Tower of David wins out here, the neck. Yeah. Okay. But I think that it really just depends, on the field conditions.
Well, and we're all about context. And the whole context of the life of Solomon.
Not going to lie to you, I never saw the neck as the Tower of David winning this bracket.
Okay.
I mean, this is a surprise for me. So, I mean, I would love to hear the analysis of this matchup, the day after.
Yeah.
Sports talk.
Yes, the ESPN when it comes on the next day. So wait, you think Tower should take it?
I think Tower should take it.
Because that's what he should have. Mm-hmm. So the better analogy was the neck.
Yeah, I think so.
Neck like the
and I'm
Tower
like
of
I say,
David.
I'm really surprised. That was the last one. That's the one we always giggle at.
Yeah.
Okay, but that one took the cake.
Yeah.
That
was great.
I mean, think about it. In the grand scheme of marriage, okay, youthful beauty, youthful lust is going to fade, but the security of a woman to be able to stand beside you and keep you reined in and to keep your family fed and clothed and keep you together, is so much more valuable than what youthful beauty and youthful lust has to offer. I mean, it's for the long haul. Yeah. I mean, and when you're going to be married when you're looking for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, that's something that is going to dominate your marriage, and that's something that you need to look for primarily.
This is this weirdly has been one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. We have to get Mindy and Olivia on an episode.
Yes.
Hey, we gotta make that. So listeners, viewers, volunteer to watch our kids for 1 hour.
Yes, 1 hour
ish. And then
Yep.
And then we'll get that done. If you really want a husband and wife episode to happen, then we've got to make it happen.
Yeah, we could tell. I guess have our wives tell embarrassing stories about us.
Yikes!
You know, there's so many to choose from. I don't know which one Olivia would
I'll
choose.
just edit out whatever I don't want the world hearing about me. So we talked last week about a bet, and at this point the Super Bowl's over when it's released, but I don't know yet. Do I have any editing power over the episode that...
Absolutely not.
Man.
I mean, you have the ability to make it work right.
I was worried about that.
But you cannot edit it.
Okay.
I'll have to listen to that episode to make sure. Intently.
Yeah. So, we are so glad that you listened or watched this. Please engage with us on social media. We would love, I'd even love if you, instead of just sharing the video or sharing the post, write something.
Yeah.
Like write something.
Comment.
Like this is why I love this episode particularly. If you want to,
if you thought I said too many inappropriate words, let us know. If you think I'm a little uncouth, let us know. I love criticism. You know, it really makes me chuckle. Mm-hmm. But just let us know what you think. If you have an idea for the show, hit us up. Call us, text us, email us, right on the comment section of whatever social media platform you're on. Just hit us up. We love to engage with people, or I do. I don't know about Brother Mark.
I love people. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank y'all for joining us, guys, and we hope to see y'all next time on Unlikely Life Versus.
See you next week. If you need me, you can call him.